Well, very seldom do I show you a guitar finished at the start of the video. But this 1954 Huettl, what do you call it? Wolfgang HÜTTL guitar, which is sort of a copy of a Hofner, is a beautiful little guitar, probably one of my favorites. And if you look closely at it, you'll see it's got little bits of wear and tear all over it, but it almost wasn't a guitar at all. If you watch this video, I think you'll think to yourself, how the hell did that happen? So it's got a lot of work done to it, but this video here, honestly, it's a miracle that this guitar is even playing with what had to be done to it. I thought it was going to be a wall hanger, but it's a beautiful little guitar, probably one of my favorites. And it's got electric acoustic on it too as well, and it is probably one of my favorites. So I advise you, or I'd suggest that you look at this video and see how we got it to this stage. I would love to have this on my wall. Some people would say this is a Hofner, but all the research I've done points to a Wolfgang HÜTTL, because he put stickers on the top of his guitar. He used those type of can't remember, and he used Schaller pickups. Now that is worth 250 quid on its own, and this little bridge, it's a brilliant little guitar, and I love it. I love it, and it's a great for playing jazz. And you notice I put black nylon strings on it, because when you see what went into getting this guitar to be a guitar, you'll appreciate why. Okay, let's get into the guitar workings. Bye-bye. We have a mystery guitar. It's an old mystery guitar, and we're going to have a look at it and maybe try to identify it. There's nothing on the head that you can see. The tuners, the pegs are very old, as you can tell, very simple. Original, of course. Paint is well and truly cracked. I'll take you to there and then I'll turn it over. The neck is pretty well joined on, so there's no problem there. It's an arch top, but it's a sort of jazz arch top. It sits like that. The frets are in rattan shape. I believe they're normal fret material, but they do look copperish down there, but I doubt it. Copper's so soft. It has a Hofner shape. I've taken you inside, let you see what I can see. I've ordered an endoscope, or is it a boroscope? Either one. I'm going to have a good look inside when it arrives, and I'll put it on the video. But I'll show you the back. The back is pretty much like the back of any guitar. It has lots of issues. Well, lots of issues, I say lots of issues, but the body's coming away from the, let me just move this around. The body's coming away from the, well, I can't say the body's coming away, I say the back's coming away from the secondary back, because there's another back inside there as well. So there's two layers of back there, and it's also coming away. Let me get this around. It's got a bit of an air conditioning situation there going on, and the back. Now this little bit here all be easy fixed, and I can't identify it. The only thing that might have some identification factor is this. It looks like a music note. I'll put a picture of it, let you see it. And it does look original, so I wonder if I wonder if it is a hint or a clue for the make of it. But my job is to make it playable and make sure it's all working. Now that's some high neck, as you'll see when I put so the bridge is going to be quite high when I put it on, when you think of it. So, and there's no truss rod. No. It did have, somebody has put a pickup on it one time, you know, one of those pickups you just touch the end of the neck. A pity it's not still there. And it did have a pick guard as well, because you can see the screw holes there. And I think there'll probably only be one over here somewhere. Maybe on the neck. Yeah, well, no, maybe not. But there's screw holes there for a pick guard. Oh, there's the other screw hole there, I believe. Oh, no, my eyes are bad. Is that a crack? No, it's not. How they attach the pick guard, I don't know. Maybe something to do somewhere else. But I'll see if I can try and do some research on this. Sorry about the being about. And let's get started at looking at this and seeing what we've got. Obviously, the first job is to glue the body. Right, there we are. Let's just get stuck into the back and take the back off. Yeah, we'll take the back off and see how we're doing. I'm going to use my fingers because it's going to be a feely job. This is only the outer skin of the back. Is it glued in the middle? I think it'll come away from the middle pretty easily. This, I don't know if this is going to give us anything worth working with, but it doesn't do any harm, because when I put it back on again, I'll make sure it's glued on for life. I think it seems to be glued there, unfortunately. Okay. I have a feeling maybe those stripes were the glue. Not great glue, but that's in good condition, so that's good. So this is the bit I would truly love to get off. Look how thin that is and flexible. That is not a good thing, being thin and flexible. It means it's going to be even harder to get off. And I'm just going to work at it. I wonder if I'm going to have to apply heat. I don't think it's going to matter if it cracks a little bit. I don't think it is, because we're going to glue this all back together again, so I don't think it's going to be... I just don't want to wreck it completely. It's sticking there. Okay, that's not going to come off. That's not nicely the way I want it to. Alright. So that's not a big deal still, because glue that to that, glue that to the back after I've done it. But I really don't want to go crazy, but I really do think I need to take this back off to find out more about it. Oh, alright, you want to play the game? There's some splitting there. That's a split down the middle, right, okay. Do I need to use heat on it? I think I'm going to have to use heat on it. So, get my heat machine. Where have I put it? I don't use it that often, so I actually put it away. So I'll pause to get my heat machine out, and we'll take that back off, because I know the inside is rotten, stinking dirty. Okay, I've got my travelling iron here, and I think that should help me. £19 travelling iron. I love it. I boast about it all the time because it does all the little jobs that I need to do. Take off fretboard, take off backs, all the little juicy things. This just helps with. It just helps melt that glue, and let's hope in this instance it does the same. Just bring that this way to me so I can see. This is supposed to be for me, but I do know the guitar is the star. This is my new slogan. The guitar is the star. People say to me, why will we see you when we play? Well, why do you want to see me? I'm not important. The guitar is the star. I stick my face in every now and then whenever I don't know why I stick my face every now and then, but I do stick it in every now and then. It'd be nice, wouldn't it be, inside, if you opened this up inside and it said, this is a such and such guitar and it was made in such and such a time. But it's not going to tell us that. Look, there we are. It's coming off. I love it. That heat has just made a little bit of difference. And the fact that these two are coming off together means that I can glue them back together much better. Because if I was to glue that back onto that, this is so flexible the two wouldn't be touching everywhere. So whenever I take this off, it means that I'll be able to glue the two perfectly back together again and give it a little bit more strength. That seems to be working nicely. Look, we can see inside it, and I'm getting myself all dirty. Right, I'm going to pause while I take off my good. See, I got this bought to me. It's one of those big hoodies, so pause. You excited? Is the anticipation eating at you? Is it? I'm doing this for two reasons. So that I can glue those back together again quite firmly, but I also want to see what the bulge is all about. So let's see. I think maybe we're nearly ready. Are we nearly ready? Are we? Are you going to come off nice and gently? You're not going to split anymore, are you? Right. Aha! Right. Switch off the iron. Do we need a drum roll? Eh? Put the iron away over there so I don't get scalded. So let's have a look inside. And yuck. Yuck. That's had some damp sometime, and that's all sorts of spider webs and stuff in there. Gross. And this is the one with the dent. Oh, do you notice something that I just spotted? There's no struts. This guitar is strutless. The only strength it has for the neck is the back. So that's probably why this is bending up, down, up and down, because there ain't no struts. And now I'm starting to think, should I put a couple of struts in? It's jazz. Let's just have a look and see. This is not going to be exciting. Chewits. So I'm going to clean this now. So just put the vacuum cleaner on and get rid of this gunk. My little hand vacuum cleaner. There's that dent. But look at the flexibility whenever the back's not on. Right, okay, well you can come with me. Right, okay, that's the big reveal. And tomorrow I'll take that out. That looks like it's something being a nest or built. Tomorrow I'll take that out and wash that all down and clean that all down. I probably will use water. Fortunately, that's pretty good. But if I use water, I'll be able to mold it onto this again a little bit better. But I'll have to sand this down and sand the other side of that down. You can see the pencil marks being hand cut by pencil. But there's no exciting news in there to say, listen Austin, it's 1936. Right, okay, and also you notice too there's no kerfing. All they have is a band around it, so it is quite an old guitar, so I have to fix that hole over there before I put this. Is it a rock? Why is there a bit of a stone in there? Unless that's somebody's nose pickings that's gone hard and petrified. Alright, switch this off and we'll get down to some real work cleaning this up. You don't need to watch me clean it up, do you? Do you really? Do you really need to watch me clean it up? Do you? No, you don't. So, we have, believe it or not, that's cleaned up a bit. It's going to get cleaned up a lot more. As you see, it's split, but that's not a big problem. The problem I'm thinking is, this is also split, by the way. There's also another ply, but that's easy enough to fix. The problem's going to be, oh yeah, you could just glue that onto that and put something flat and heavy on it and it'll hold. The problem is you want to keep that, you don't want to put the bend out of it. So I have to think about how I'm going to do this. I think I may have to make that flexible and flexible and pliable. Flexible. I just invented a new word there, and I think it should catch on. Flexible. Right. Okay. Anyway, I got a feeling if I dampen it, I'll see. I might have to use a different type of glue, that's sort of instant contact glue, to put it on the back. I'm going to clean that more, but I think it'll actually be easier to clean that when it's stuck to the back more, and then I'll have some sanding paper or something on it, and then glue it onto there. But I need to figure out some strut work on this, and that's, as I said, bent, and I got a feeling the only way to unbend that is to dampen that, but I don't want to dampen that and then put a strut in across the way. I have to think this out. Okay, alright, bye. So I'm going to glue this back onto that back again, but because the back is concave or convex, whichever way you look at it, and I don't have the shape for that, what I'm going to do is put some glue there. I'm actually not going to put some glue on that bit because it's so fragile that I'm afraid of cracking it more. So I'm going to put a lot of glue on this area, and then put that back on and fit it, and then put a heavy weight in the center like this. I'm not going to show the whole process because it'll be boring. And then I put a weight there, just dead center. And then tomorrow I'll put some glue there and put a weight there, dead center. And then maybe later on I'll put another bit there, dead center. And then I'll put another bit there to glue that down, because I don't have the shape to glue it all down at once. So tonight I'm just going to put that on. I'll do the others off camera because there's no point in you seeing me do that. But the weight I'm going to use is the sellotape dispenser, a nice pale blue one. So I'm going to do that. Probably use my tampers first to spread the weight, and then put the sellotape dispenser on it, which will give me that. So that's all it is, and it's pretty boring. That's why I'm only going to show you the one part of it. the fussy part of it will be getting the edges right, because it got damp, this is now longer and wider than the back. So whenever I put it on, I'll have to get it on as best I can, and then we'll have to trim that. But we're not at that stage yet. So where are my, I can't see anything with the flaming lights. Where is my glue spreader? I tidy up and then I can't get to find them where I want them. So I'm putting, actually hold on a second, because this is tight bond that's been sitting, some of the stuff has gone to the bottom of it, so I want it to be stirred around a bit. I'm not going to use all this, I'm just going to use enough for that center section, the same sort of size as this tape dispenser, that same sort of area, and that's better, that's perfect. Right, you can go there, and I'll use you, and I'm going to put a good slather on, as they say, a good slather. I might even pour it on, and it doesn't have to be precise, but I'm going to put a good slather on because I'm only going to put it on one side. Right, that's a good slather. Maybe even another bit of a good slather to the side. So that's fairly thick. It's pretty porous wood, so maybe give it a bit more. Okay, now you go over there, and you, babe, come over here. Not worried about those little bits because they'll go out of the way. Now let me get you on center to the top where the curve is, and side to side. I think I'm going to put this on first, and then the weight, and then... Right, why are you rocking about? Let me just make sure you're... Yes, okay. No, I don't like that weight. Okay, I don't like that weight. I don't like the way the Pampers are. I wanted the Pampers to be more... So, you see why the Pampers are like that, because now my hand's on it holding it, and it's all correct all the way around. Yes, it's perfect the way I want it. Yes, I'm going to let go of it for a second. Bring in ye old tea towel and set that there, which gives me the rounded shape, and that's better. That's more like it. Now, I'm going to give this a good 48 hours to dry. Let me just check that it still is. Yeah, it still is in the right place. So I'm just going to move that over there. And my next job is something I've done a few times. Well, I'm going to clean up first and I'll come back to you. Oh, by the way, this arrived today for, it's a Schaller. It's a Schaller pickup and mount. It belongs to this guitar, and to get these you have to spend a lot of money. This is a stain inside it, which we can't do anything about, but if you look really closely, I don't think you can see it. I think I maybe have to take a still picture. It still says Schaller on it, which is a very famous make, and I also have the bridge, and it's a very nice looking thing with intonators built into it, and so that's enough to make me realize that it's a Hofner, even though it doesn't look like it. But this is not just cheap ply, this is good wood, and that's good wood but plied together. I'm not going to even try to fit a piece of wood in there. I'm going to put a piece of wood on the inside and then fill it up, but I have to get a bendy piece of wood that's going to be in there, and I can clamp it together and seal it. So I'm going to go and do that. Right, that has been glued solid. I put this on last night. This will all clean off, by the way, because I cleaned all this off, but that had a cover on it, so I couldn't clean it. So it looks like it's going to come up nice. But I'm just about to take this off. I splodged out and opened one or two of these that I bought ages ago, and the hope that it would help me with help me with getting these things flattened. What I'll do, I didn't glue that bit down, I glued all that down. That's looking pretty good. So the next thing I'll do, what I did with there is I soaked it with water first and let it soak, and then I'll do the same with here, soak it in there, and glue it. Okay, so next time you see me, I'll be unclamping that side, and then I'll do the top. First of all, I lied. I had a look at it and I decided not to do this side of it because I wanted that to settle and really harden first. So I left that semi-dry. So I soaked this top part, and as you can see, I've almost used all my clamps. It's not going to be perfect, because I see there on the side that I have done, there's a little lump there, and there's a little lump there, and there's a lump there. Now the lump there, I can put an injection in and put a clamp on and get that sorted out. I think I might be able to do the same with that and that. But as you see, it's not bad, but it's not perfect. When you soak it, it stretches, but you have to soak it to get the stretch there, so when it shrinks again, the bubbles will go out of it. I've got it's lifting there in the middle because it's so wide that it's splitting the crack, but I think what I'm going to do there is probably open up, when it's dried, I'll open up the crack with a Stanley knife, shave off a bit and put the crack back together, and then glue it all back down that way. But overall, I'm quite happy with that. I need this off my bench. It's taking up too much time. Okay, so that's the next job I'm going to do, and I'm not going to bore you with it, okay? Now, this could be interesting. 2 days ago, I soaked that piece of maple, that little stretch of maple there, to give strength to the area where they've got the big hole in it. Now, maple's hard to bend, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm expecting it to go bing when I take off the pressure. I don't think so, but that's my thought in the back of my head. It'll go bing. But I got a feeling it's pretty much on there all right. Now we've got the hole there. As you can see, we've got the whole world on the guitar. So I think the only thing I can do now is to fill that in. There's no point in putting even a push, just fill it in with fillers and then try to match up, which I know which will not happen. I actually might just bring the black around a bit more because it's easier to bring that black around, but we'll see. That's now going to sit. I think that's pretty strong on. Yeah, well, fingers crossed. If not, I'll stick a couple of big huge bolts on each side of it. All right. Okay, I'm just taking off the thing. So I think I'm going to stain this afterwards. I think I'm going to just put a little stain on it to bring it all back to the same sort of color and see where we are. But after I've done those two little bits of glue, and I'll do them off camera and I'll show you them when I'm clamped them. Yeah, I think so. Right, that's it. Little corner there. the other side of that strap there, and those 3 little clips, that doesn't need glued, that's well and truly firm. So the next time I have this, it'll be ready to go onto the body, but I think, as I say, I will stain that a light color, maybe something like that there, just to take, it's inside the body, nobody's going to notice it. I could paint it black for all that matter. I was tempted to paint it black, but I think I'll just stain it a little light color, just to take all that off it. I don't know why I would stain it, but I'm going to stain it anyway. I can't think of a good reason actually, but I'm going to do it. Okay. Okay, this should be the last time. Maybe the last time, but I don't know. Let's bring the guitar into the picture and have a look. It's to get the guitar shape onto it. I'm not worried about the overflow. And this is now there. What I'm thinking of doing, haven't decided yet, I have a massive clamp, and I might just put it from there to there to get the body glued first of all. But I might not, because it's going to be difficult to get this glued on with the number of little thingies that I have. I could do it 24. Okay, pause. Well, that's it all glued together. Still has some work to do. What I'm going to do, this is called white ash stain. White ash stain. So I'm just going to stain the whole thing white ash. So by the time I finish shaking it, I'll come back to you when I'm ready to put it on. Okay, it's from the Furniture Clinic wood stain, and this is a tester size, and I'm just hoping the tester size will be enough. Why? You don't have to. Do you have to ask me that question? Yeah, let's give it some more. Come on, I don't even use this stuff very often. Let's go for broke. Let's go for broke and get it down dark and dirty if we can. As you can see, I don't use this often. So you probably can tell it's not the part of fixing guitars that I'm not fond of either. There you are. It's a little bit darker overall. I suppose it's not disastrous. All those little bits will brush off. So, and that's going to be hidden up here because it's got the bar on it. Let me just see. Maybe I've missed a bit. What I'm going to do with that, I really don't know. Well, we'll see. I don't have red, that color. I don't have any of that. Anyway, that's it. I got to clean up the mess. Okay. I just spotted this and I thought I'd just put it back on before I do anything with it. But look, the white spot right where the F-hole is. I'm trying to figure this out. It's not sunlight, but that's directly over where the F-holes are. I can't say I understand that. Explain it to me, anybody out there that understands that kind of thing. Why that would, whenever I stain it, why does it go where the F-holes are later? What had happened to the wood for the sunlight or the daylight to make that happen? Anyway, alright, bye-bye. Right, I've had to make an executive decision. I don't have enough of those for a whole guitar, and I have a few of those which might do, but I'm only going to glue this bit on. I'm going to glue this bit at the top. I'm going to make sure that's really well glued on the top part, and then when it's glued on I'll be able to move them and then put some glue in here and slather it in there and work on it that way. But that's going to go on now. So all I'm going to do now is probably speed this bit up because I'm going to slather glue right round there. Because really I would like these touching each other, so to make sure there's an even. It is even, but I would like them touching each other. So maybe 4 times as many, because this is a small 3/4 size guitar. Okay, bye-bye. Now, it's been 4 days, and I'm just going to remove these. That's brilliant. Now I'm going to shove a lot of glue in there and then squeeze in the back, and guess what, I'm going to do it now, like now. After I've done this, it's going to be all down to the sanding machine to get this as right as possible. Yep, yeah. So there we go. And we're exactly 24 hours later. I would like to have given it 48, but I have a pile of guitars sitting waiting, so I think 24 is all I can afford to give it. So the big question is it the way I want it now that it's been dried? And will it stay that way? Is it well and truly glued? Let's just see. Okay. Right, so it's holding down tight, which is good. It's a little shy there, so I'm going to have to work on that to fill that in, but it's going to get black paint along it. And it's a little proud that there, and the back is just a little shy, but it's pretty solid. That's the thing that I couldn't take off because it's got nails in it, and I wanted to leave it on and we'll work around it, but that's the way the man made it, so I'm going to let it sit that way. So we're back onto this, and I now have the back on good and solid, but I have to smooth all the edges, and there's using my little to take away the edges as much as I can, as smooth as I can, and I have to work in one direction, and then when I get to a certain thing I'll have to turn it around and work that way because of the wood grain. So I'm going to get that done and come back to you, okay? Okay, we're another step down the road. We've painted some of it black. You can just see it's not perfect, and I still have a little bit to do there, and I have some tidying up to do there, and I haven't put the gloss on yet. So The rest of the guitar is drying and still more work to do it. But I'm going to look at this neck now. Now, 1954, even 1958, somewhere around that date, we have a slight underbow, which is brilliant because there's no truss rod on this. So what I'm going to do, which I don't tend to normally do, is check the straightness of the neck by doing this. Because when I slide it across, I can see if there's any twist in it. And there's a slight twist. This side is an underbow, but the underbow is slightly bigger there and less so there, so it's slightly twisted underbow wise, and these two ends are normal. I'm going to use the wire wool, but I'm going to use the wire wool for everything, even the frets, even the fret wood, and use the wire wool to clean that. And I'm making a rattly noise. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off the camera because there's no point in zooming through it already. I've looked at the edited video and it's almost an hour and 30 minutes long. And I think I'm going to have to split it in two. So I'm going to switch off the camera now. And I'll come back to you when I've done the whole lot. Alright? It was wire wooled. And then I went over with 2000 sandpaper. Then I wire wooled it again and gave it a polish, and it's looking good. And you see the way the water is just disappearing and leaving little birds' tongues on it. They'll all vanish eventually, but that shows you how dry the wood is. So what I'm going to do now is give it a good drink of Dunlop Fretboard 65, and it's drying in front of your eyes. But the oil will stay on it for a while because I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to reduce it down. I'm not going to leave that much oil on it, but I'm letting the oil soak in for a second, and then I'll take off the residue and then let the oil soak in again. But on this side we have that problem there, which I've sanded down now. But we have black there, right? And I was thinking maybe I'll try to taper it off, but it never looks good. But what I think I will do is I'll paint it black right up to there. So I'll just do that. I'm going to do it. Let me just see what the back front is. That will only take a few minutes to dry. It's so handy. I feel like doing the whole bloody thing with it, but I can't. But anyway, once that's dry, I'm going to take it out and spray it, and just spray that whole thing gloss. Haven't decided how I'm going to hide the back yet, but I'll look at that once I've done the sides. Okay. Well, it struck me, just one more thing, that what I'm going to do with the back is virtually leave it alone, but I'm using 600 grit sandpaper just to give it a rough coat. I was tempted to actually spray it, but I've changed my mind now because with all the imperfections across it, I think I'm going to paint it by hand with some gloss. It would be nice if I could have taken that off so it'd give me a smoother surface. So the idea, paint that by hand, paint that by hand, paint that by hand, which is almost dry now, and leave the front shiny glossy. And I think that'll give it a more original effect to what it is. Right, I forgot I had opened up some varnish and put it in here last night, and I'm going to use this. So this is almost instant drying varnish, so I'm going to be quick with it. Oh, that's even better. Yes, that's already better. Right, so I'll wash this brush and come back to you when it's dry. I'm happy enough with that. That's before and that is after. So that's what this will look like when I finished, and I'm happy enough with that. And the back looking pretty good too. I might rub over it with it. Okay, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, I might run over it with some 3000 just to take some of those little pink brush off. But I think it actually is going to look like that when it's finished. So I'm going to let it sit for another 24 hours on its face because I haven't touched the face. Okay. Forgive the blue towel, but the back has just been lacquered and I don't want to make any mess of it. Now, struggling today with bad eyes again, but we must keep going. I'm going to work on the head, but I'm not going to do very much to the head. I like the patina it has, even though it's an old and rusty patina. But what I don't want is I don't want it to get worse over the years. So I'm just going to dust it, and then I'm going to oil it, and then I'm going to treat it. I'm not even going to clean those, not going to touch those, because if they're bone, they're going to be ultra fragile, so I'm not going to touch them. Now that I can see the back better, I see that there are some creases in the guitar, which is never a good sign, but I'm hoping that the two pieces of wood now being glued together will stop it creasing. I'll show you what I mean just there. You see the crease there? Do you see that little crease there? That would be the body squishing up and creasing. So I'm hoping that what I've done with the glue and all will hold it, but I'm not going to take a chance, and I think I'm going to put on, well, I know I'm going to put on black nylon strings. Maybe they'd be the same tensions as ordinary strings, but I would feel that there'd be a softer pull on the guitar. Right, some little bits of black there I'm going to just tidy up. And I still have to do that. How am I going to do that? I'm not sure. Do want to keep that. I'm going to pause now. Going to get the Shaler pickup guard and the bridge. Now this is the Shaler or Shaler. The name is there, but I don't think you can read it, but it's sitting on there somewhere. I'll take a picture of it. And this will sit like that on the guitar. And I have to shape that better. And then this is a very nice bridge. It's typical of the bridges that the high-end Hofners used to use. And it has the intonator where you can move the... I haven't even tested the electrics on this. And the jack plug goes in there. Very simple wiring. I suppose I should test that, so I'm going to pause while I test this. Right, I'm going to do this. Now you'll see I haven't taken any of the rust off, because the rust will turn into a hard core. Don't know whether it's good German metal or not, but it's some German metal, or it could be British metal made in Germany in the 1950s. Right, okay, I'll let that sit like that. Then I'm going to put this on the settee beside Georgie Girl. And I'm going to zoom down on my towel, my lovely blue towel, to let you hear the workings of this wheelbarrow. I probably will clean this. Look at that jack plug. Look how simple it is. It looks like it's got a coil around it, or maybe just a piece of metal protecting it as a shield. The switches, brass plate, earthing. Well, let's plug it in and see what noise we get from it. Because I haven't done this. I don't believe I have done this. So let's just do it. All right. Yeah, it's all working. It's all working well. And look at that there. I like those knobs. Little white dab of paint on it. Actually like this too, even though it's dirt. But let's get it into the guitar. Do I need to clean this? Let me just see. No, I don't. Right, okay. Well, believe it or not, they're too big. So I have to go to micro gauge screws to get them to go in. What is that? Right, okay, that's it now, back in focus. So that's it sitting in position. When this dries off a bit more, I'm going to put the strings on. And we're almost there. Lovely. Looking nice, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Almost like Star Trek colors, Captain Kirk's dress uniform with cream and red and black. See how much of a nerd I am? Right, I can't rescue that. No matter what I looked at, not going to get it done. So I have a new one that I'm going to put on. And it's going to be new, but it sort of matches the color of the tuning pegs. So let's get the old one off. Off with the old and in with the new. There's some things you just can't save. Oh look, it wasn't even broken 2 pieces, it was broken 3 pieces. So, and sadly, even worser still, it's much thicker. So I'm going to have to trim that down hellishly. Right, okay, I might have a hellishly one trimmed down already, but let's have a look and see. It's actually, maybe it's too thin. Let's have a look at it and see. Oh, come back. Yeah, no, that might do it. Do you know what I'm going to do? Because that's so shallow, I'm going to bring that down a bit more in a flat line. Right, that's sitting nicely. That's much nicer now. Okay, so I'll let that sit, and then I'm going to let that sit and harden, and then I'll come back and we'll start putting the strings on. Okay. Right, that's the strings on, but not tuned. They're not tight at all. I'm going to take a bit off that. This side is actually pretty good, but the nut actually raises, so I have to do something with that. I used classical black strings, and I've done them around this way. Now people might say I'm mad for doing that, and I wonder if there are any studies done on this to see whether there's less tension put on a guitar body with nylon strings opposed to straight steel strings. It's just my feeling is that it would be less tension on this guitar. So I'm going to have to lower that somehow. I think I may have to sand it because those nuts won't go down any lower. But that's for tomorrow, because Georgia girl is in my arms and she wants cuddles. So, well, there's the strings on, and it was a struggle. Not half was a struggle. I brought down the nut, which is a bone nut, which made it easier to bring down, and so it's not touching the strings at all. The 0 fret is doing all the work. That's just acting as a guide. That wasn't all the hassle to get to that stage, because the bridge saddle is too high, and I had to take out those completely from the bridge saddle. Even with them gone, I still didn't have enough space, so I had to sand down this top part of the saddle, which is more or less a sort of plastic Bakelite. So we've got the strings now at an acceptable, very good action up here. Not going to go crazy trying to get any better action there, because don't forget we've got an underbow that we can't touch because we've no truss rod. And black nylon strings, I love the look of them. They're hard to keep in tune until they've stretched properly, but I'll just keep tuning them and tuning them. And you noticed I had to do sort of like a classical guitar thing down at the back here to keep them in tune. So I'm always worried about the first string sliding off, because I had to wind it in a very special way. So the next thing I'm going to do, which you might already have seen, because I'm going to do this video in reverse, but the next thing I'm going to do is just do a little play of it and get it up to tune and let you see what it looks like. To me, it's a beautiful little guitar. It's a 3/4 size, beautiful little guitar. It may not be in the best of shapes, but I would love this. You see the chunks out of it there? Somebody else might be able to do it better than me, but I love it. I actually love this little guitar. It's all been treated. Nothing's been highly shined or anything like that. They're treated, and that's been treated at the head to give it the same look, but to stop the rust. So the next thing you're going to see me getting this up to tune and playing it. All right. Right, this is after I did the demo. I've taken this back off again for a couple of reasons. One is, when I put the jack socket in there, I heard a little crack, and I noticed that this crack has been glued before several times, but it keeps opening up. And the crack is being caused by this not being the right shape. So what I'm going to do is try to fix the crack first, and then I'm going to have to work on that to get that to a better shape that's not putting stress on it. So my theory of fixing the crack is I'm going to use some fiberglass. I'm going to use epoxy, which I have here, which stinks. God, it stinks to high hell. And it's going to be spread on the underside, and then it's going then the fiberglass, which I shall cut. Okay. So it doesn't need to be pretty, but it needs to be just a bit more strength on it, because it's underneath it, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to smother this. I don't know what I can. Oh God, that stinks. That really stinks. Keep off my bench. Thank you. Keep off my bench. Right, sorry. Well, I'm used to working with epoxy, but this stuff, 151, it better be bloody good for all the stink it's causing here. I don't think Georgia girl will be on my shoulders for a week or two after this. Right, okay, so I'm going to put that in there. Use a non-contaminated screw driver to push that down in, and use a contaminated screwdriver Just smother it a bit more. Don't go on my bench. I will be cross with you if you go on my bench, because you'll be cross with myself for allowing you to go on my bench. So the idea is that this will give the, come off, this will give it strength, and then I'll refix that hole again. Let me just take it off the edges. I'll re-drill the hole again when this is sealed. Okay, right. But there's another reason why I'm doing this too, is that I wasn't happy with the tone control. I thought I didn't notice any change in the tone. So I'm going to check the wiring when this is drying, as this is drying. So this is horrible, stinky stuff. Right, okay, so that's all I'm going to do with that. I'm going to let that sit and dry solidly. Whoa, God, you're rotten. Bueno. So away you go. Out of my nostrils. You, over there. Whoa. Maybe a fan. Stinks. Right, okay, so I've got my meter here. I'm going to test it, because what I was worried about, this is now dry, is this is so fragile looking. I'm going to test that's the volume. I'm going to test the earth is working around all over the place. And I'm going to test, go away, for goodness sake, that stink is lousy. I'm going to have to open the window or something, because that is really foul and it's hurting my nose. Sorry guys and gals, I have a fan here, just over here, going right across it, because that really is rank. What I'm trying to figure out is okay, Schaller pickup from 1953. This is the single coil, one volume, one tone wiring. You get the live wire coming out, going to that, which it does there, right? And then you got a wire going from there to there, there to there, right? But no capacitor in the way. The capacitor goes from there to there, then to out. I think I'm going to have to rewire it. As you see, I completely rewired it. I put earth wires across it. I put a capacitor, a 47 megafarad capacitor, and I wired it the way that I know how, and it's all working fine. I've tested it. I don't know whether you'll be able to hear the difference in the test, but much deeper, so I know that the tone's working perfectly now. So I'll give you a demo on it. Let's just check the volume. Yeah, everything's working fine. That's the way I know how to wire it, but I also do know that this resistor, capacitor, whatever it was, it's a 47 megafarad one, but it wasn't working properly. So actually, was it a 22? I forget now, but it wasn't working properly. All right, bye-bye. Am I happy? I think I am. I've got this on much firmer now, so they can use a jack plug. I've rewired, as you saw. It's plugged in now. Up there, it's plugged in okay. And there is a tone difference when you're using this, But I'm wondering, and I raised the pick guard up closer to the strings because there wasn't a lot of volume coming out of it. Now, let me just show you something. That's 3/4 volume on my amplifier. I'll turn it off. Right. I just wonder if the pickup's working as well as it should be. It definitely, the tone is working. So the tone is definitely working, but I'm just concerned that it's, maybe the pickup is weaker. Now, can you see in there, it's got gold in the leaf. Very nice. I still love this guitar, and it's a great little player. I'll just check the tuning. The one thing about it may be the tone, because I've got black nylon strings on it, maybe so you don't hear the tone as well. Lovely tone, isn't it? With these nylon strings. I got a feeling, because it has such a large underbow on it, I could bring this down. I could, but I would worry about it. But I don't think it's going to be played up there an awful lot. It'll be played here. Anyway, I love it. What I have done since I was away, I've done a little bit of white around the edges to help it. I give it another little coat of paint there, raised it up, did some more touching up on it. But even apart from that, I think it's a super looking little guitar, and it'd be fun to play it all the time. And it seems to be quite strong, so. Definitely is going home. Bye bye. Georgie girl chased Ginger Boy out of the room halfway through that. Bye.